This episode has been brought to you by Subject to Change Customs. Choose Subject to Change for all your custom apparel and promotional product needs. Follow them on all social media at S2C LLC and get your 4 times dope merch on their website. That's www.shopS2C.com.
Yeah, we in the building. 4 times dope. Yeah, we known to get it live, man. 4 times dope. New level, keep it high, yeah. 4 times dope. Mic check, now we on it, we live.
What up? Good evening, fair listeners to the 4 Times Dope podcast. I'm one of your humble steeds, Jamie, and I have my brothers Kwame, Kasharo, and Jermaine.
What's going
Fellas,
on?
how y'all doing?
Trying to make it. We're making it, brother.
Making it, bro.
All right, bro.
Yeah, man. I don't want to start on a somber note, but we're gonna have to. One of my chapter brothers, Mr. Brian McCorkle, he was Spring '89, the Mighty Tall Side chapter, the number 4, has left us. He died from COVID. He was out of the hospital and he was doing well, and he had to go back, and they put him on a ventilator. So Brian to us in our chapter, man, was just a ray of light. He always checked on us, and he didn't have to. He had a wonderful wife and 2 beautiful daughters and a granddaughter, and he was just so high on life. And he was a proud man. He was a deacon of his church, and he was headed to be a minister, and he was on it. And he would always say this. He would say something like this. He would say, "Kwame, I love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it." And that made us all feel so good about ourselves, because it's just like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. You do love me, and I appreciate that. So like he gave me some words of wisdom right after I got married, and that meant so much to me. Because like I say, he's 9 years older than me, and if you could imagine someone 9 years older than you was, I don't have to talk to you, but he took the time out to invest in us, and it hurt our chapter to its core. And viewing is tomorrow, and his funeral's on Saturday down in Charlotte. So we got to get down there and see McCorkle.
Oh, man. Well, it's definitely sending condolences
to his family. And get a chapter.
Yeah, exactly, man. Really do. Kashar, we lost a chapter brother for Phi Beta Sigma Gamma Gamma, Kevin Holt. He's Spring '84, and like I said, it's hitting the chapter pretty hard. It's funny because somebody had posted that we call him Bullet. Someone had posted that he is your Sigma's favorite Sigma, you know what I mean? And he definitely, when I heard it and I seen that written up there, that's exactly what it is, because he was the person that loved his school, he loved his fraternity, loved his chapter. He's excited down around homecoming, taking pictures, always smiling, So he was that guy that, that you can count on being there, being supportive. So it's definitely sad that we lost him, and we just trying to stay strong as a chapter, as a fraternity. So I definitely want to send my condolences to Kevin or Bullet's family as well. So let's try to, I guess, change a little bit of gears. We're actually the next few months we're gonna have like different challenges, and for the month of March we're going to start with a health challenge. For the month of April we're going to do a financial literacy challenge, and for the month of May we're going to go into a restoring and improving relationship challenge. And the challenges we're going to have amongst ourselves, we're going to do our own little personal challenges. We're going to use the honor code. Hopefully we all going to be honest amongst each other and stuff.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, man. So just a little challenge. We want to just kind of push ourselves just to try to be better overall. And we're going to just concentrate on, one little area at a time. And even we move on to the next challenge, we still going to try to keep up the previous challenge, because it's all about, self betterment. So I would like to ask, I don't know if I'll start with you, Jermaine. If it's a health challenge that you feel like you want to do for this month, what would that health challenge be?
the month of March.
Hold on. Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. He said this month. So me personally, honestly, from month to month, I have a couple challenges. But in terms of health challenges, I actually have two. One
Okay.
would be to consume more water within
Okay.
30 days. Um, I'm a huge fan of drinking alkaline water
Mm.
and lemons in it. But it constantly makes you pee, man, like all day. Like, you know what I'm saying? But no, but to drink more water, consume more water, and I actually do that weekly. I say, well, during the week, I want to consume 2 or 3 gallons, whatever, 2 gallons, 3 gallons. That's one. And the other thing is to is to extend my cardio for 5 minutes. That's all.
Okay.
I max out my cardio and
Mm-hmm.
find myself. I max out maybe 10 minutes per day, but I said, well, I want to kick it up to maybe no more than 15 minutes, but it can be a little challenging at times.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's my goal to max to extend my cardio weekly each day, 5 minutes.
Got
Okay.
it.
Go back to the water challenge. So how much? I mean, how much water do you normally drink, and what you trying to go up to when you say increase it?
All right, so right now I'm doing like, and it's not really a lot. Right now I'm doing like 2 gallons a week,
So a
right?
lot. Oh, a week. Oh, you said
A
that.
week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing like 2 gallons a week. Yeah, 6 gallons a week, and I'm doing this 2 gallons within, I'm gonna say within 4 days.
Okay.
But I want to go 3 gallons a week.
Oh, okay.
You
Got
see
you.
what I'm saying? I'm drinking on that 1 gallon all day. It might take 2 days to knock out one, but I'm doing it. But the reason why I say I want to kick it up is because with 3 gallons comes more discipline. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not even about the water. It's about me just being more disciplined. I don't
Yeah.
drink soda. It's just me. I need to become more disciplined to drink water around the clock. Around
Mm-hmm.
the clock. So basically my goal is to become more disciplined through drinking more water. If that
That
makes sense.
makes sense. That's the
Got
discipline
it.
you need to
Right.
institute. I got it.
Good
So
challenge.
All right, Shawn, I'm gonna jump to you. I'm gonna say Jamie for last, but I'm gonna jump.
Uh,
Yeah.
for me, I need to lose 10 pounds.
Just
um,
10.
just
Damn.
10 because I've only gained 10 since COVID. I had my physical 2 weeks ago, and when I got on the scale,
Mm-hmm.
I was at 230, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "I've
no
been a
way.
consistent 220 for like 4 or 5 years consistently." So
Uh-huh.
to see
Wow.
that was like, "What?" I couldn't believe I was at 230. So I did that. I had my labs, and the labs came back. Wasn't happy. My high cholesterol was too high. My low cholesterol was too low. And
Damn.
they were saying, I guess because when you have to fast before you get labs. So the lab came back and said something about potential kidney failure. So I freaked out. And so when I called a doctor, he was like, "Relax, it's not that." He was like, "Usually when you fast, he was like, usually when you fast." He said, "Obviously, you were dehydrated and you hadn't drunk no water." I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, you told me not to do nothing, so I didn't do anything." He was like, "That's why." He was like,
That's
"So
why.
it was saying
Mm.
potential for kidney failure, but he knew it wasn't nothing scary." Anyway,
Mm.
long story short, I need to lose 10 pounds. I need to get my cholesterol back where it needs to be, and I need to work out more, basically, and I'll be okay.
So
Right.
you go
So
to
I'm
10 pounds
challenging myself to lose those 10 pounds
in a
and
month.
work out more consistently and stay away
Because
from the carrot cake and the liquor. Because since COVID, I drunk every single day. Me and my wife was drinking something every day
wow. Got
since
you.
I
during COVID,
love it.
and
Took
I was
full
going to Harris
advantage.
Teeter. I was going to Harris Teeter weekly to get that carrot cake because they make some fresh slices of carrot cake. So I know where all the pounds and
So
everything
yeah,
came
I
from.
didn't, it didn't
Right.
Everything
sneak
is
up
just
on
off
me.
whack.
I went to go
You can
get
I
I-
it.
know
you
what
can
it is.
identify that weight.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm like, I gotta get it together. So yeah,
So
so that's
Kasharo,
me.
just
Yes,
10 this month, right? That's your goal.
my goal is 10 this month.
Okay,
Now,
all right, bet.
I am going to Jamaica the last week of March. However, my goal is still
Right,
between now and April, which
You
is
look
30
like a
days,
goal, baby.
right.
to lose those 10 pounds.
You can do it,
Yeah.
bro. You can do it, man.
Shaw stole my thunder. 'Cause I was gonna, I
Oh,
need to
oh, did I?
lose more than 10. No, you good. Not messing with you.
Oh,
But I'm gonna start with something like I said, reasonable, like 10 plus for the month. But my so that would be one of the goals, and then two, I'm gonna try to make sure I do some type of like walking or some
Mm-hmm.
type of cardio at least 5 times a week for the month.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully with that and me cutting back, I'll drop those 10+ pounds. Hopefully a lot more, but I'm gonna start with
Right.
10. So that's mine. And Jamie, what about you?
Hey, Russ, it's the
Yeah.
same. I mean, I got that COVID weight. I got that honeymoon weight. I
Mm.
got that. I didn't go outside weight. I mean,
Yeah, take advantage of the situation. Wait.
I took full advantage. I
Mm.
knew where it came from. Coming them bag of chips, I was killing.
Yeah.
I was killing them Miss Winters and them goddamn 50 pack at the job, dog. I mean, I know where it came from. It wasn't no
Right.
sneak up on me, and I was drinking and smoking. Drinking. I'm a bourbon drinker now, guys, and I
Okay.
smoke cigars. And
Mm,
man, I'm so grown. And that shit's
You and your
showing.
grown man ish.
Man,
right. Right.
that shit is showing. I go outside and smoke a cigar and drink liquor by myself.
Nothing to do.
So I
Look at this
know where
guy.
that fucking weight came from. It's no surprise. It came from me. I
Yeah.
did it. So Faith and I, we got our second shot today. So we
Okay.
are back out in these streets. So I'm gonna get back in the gym and
Right.
get more consistent. Of course, get more disciplined about getting up earlier because I just been like sleeping in past 8. It
Yeah.
was just those things. But yeah, it's just more. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself so I'm lose
Right.
20 pounds.
Yeah.
Nah,
Right.
it
Start
ain't gonna
small,
happen.
man. You
No,
gotta
I'm just
Fellas,
gonna
build,
get
Yeah,
man.
more
just
well,
consistent.
fellas,
like you
let's
said,
let's
just
think of
be
it like this.
active.
Yeah.
Let's think of it like this too. Let's honestly, only thing stopping us from doing it is really ourselves
Oh
being
yeah.
motivated. And I think we should hold each other accountable because I would rather we take it, we do it on our terms. The doctor
Hmm.
tells us we need to do these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I challenge us all to get on it and motivate each other and stay on each other's ass, man, and do it. And let's
Yeah.
do some before and after pictures. Let's take some pictures now, and then be
Shoot.
30 days later to review some pictures.
I don't
Man,
want
trying to
no. I
bear.
don't want
They
no.
trying to have us embarrassed from this junk.
I don't want no goddamn
It's on the social
evidence.
media. Niggas be clowning the hell out of us.
No
No, the,
evidence.
Sorry,
the,
nigga.
the, pic-
Gentlemen.
the pictures gonna be motivation. Once we
Nah.
see that progress,
I'll
we'll
show
be
the
motivated.
after picture.
Yeah. In August.
deep
Not
August.
April.
Right.
All right, boys. Allow me to ask. Let me ask you this question. What do you want people to know about you when they meet you? What
Oh
3
man.
things do you want people to know about you when they meet you? I'll go first, and I'm gonna kick it to Kasharo.
Okay.
Got it. So the first thing I want people to know about me is that I'm from Red Springs, North Carolina. Most people can't see it when they're in it, but like my little town, man, it's in Robinson County, and they really cared about me being I guess free in my upbringing. I didn't see it at the time, but I saw in my little town that these people actually cared about me. The second thing I want people to know about me is that I'm an Eagle Scout. And that means a lot just to say out loud because that they challenged me early enough to keep my interest in, like, since I'm from a small town, I could walk to the meetings and stuff. So that's just like another thing to say, well, look, I'm from Red Springs. So in that town, they afforded me the opportunity to be in the Boy Scouts. I mean, the troop was at a white church with an all black troop. Ain't that some
Mm.
shit?
Yeah.
So
The
in that little
irony.
town in Red Springs, North Carolina, they had an all black troop, and 3 Eagle Scouts came out of that troop. And the third thing I want people to know about me is that I went to North Carolina Central. And the choice was easy, but most people don't even have the choice.
Right.
For real.
The choices, some people don't have the opportunity. And a lot of things could have been different, but man, I thank God all the time about, me actually attending Central with the people I met and then the opportunities it presented. So I really think a lot of times like, I could have went to this school, but man, I'm so lucky I went to Central. And it was my decision, but the opportunity presented itself that I could make it from that little town,
Right.
the Black Eagle Scout.
Gotcha.
That made me different. So I just want those 3 things. I want people to know those 3 things about me when they meet me. Kashara, what about you?
Um, I would say I'm a good husband, I'm a good father, and I love hard. And when I say the husband and the father part, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. I think people can get that one. The love hard part is I've learned about myself recently, just doing a lot of reflection. I love hard, and I mean that when I say like if I allow you to come into my space,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna love you. Like I'm gonna love you hard. You know what I mean? Like I, it's almost in a sense because I kind of diagnosed myself when I was in grad school. I was like, I think I got attachment issues because it's kind of like if we become cool and the chemistry just there is like I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like I love
Mm-hmm.
the people I interact with. I love the people I surround myself with, and they love me. But sometimes I do know I might do a little too much, and it might be like off putting. But it's because I love you and I love hard, and so
Right.
I don't want it to be misinterpreted as something else. You know what I mean? If that
Right.
makes
Right.
sense.
It makes perfect sense.
So yeah.
There you go. All right. Kwame.
I think mine's more well, some of it's personality. I think I want people to know that I'm down to earth. At least I try to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I try to take pride in. I'm I'm learning, and I also want people to know that I'm love. I guess becoming like a family man in a sense.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Right.
I feel like it was a family, just me and wife, but now with my son being there, it feels like a whole circle.
Yeah.
And I'd be tired. I ain't gonna lie, I'd be tired. But it's
James
but
running you through the ground, dog.
man, he had no idea. But I mean, but like I sit back and reflect a whole lot. I'm more thankful for my wife and my son, and just I mean, I'm doing stuff I normally don't be doing, like looking at pictures and all the time. Not all the time, but more than I normally did. So
Mm-hmm.
it's those type of things that I love this new role or this new chapter in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm enjoying it. And then the last thing that I love like black excellence just across the board. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
love seeing us when I say us winning, doing good, trying just be innovators and just uh seeing that. You know what I mean? So it just made me feel proud to be a black person, a black man, and everything. So those are three
Mm-hmm.
things I would say.
All right, Jermaine, what three things do you want people to know about you when they meet you?
Um, and that's by the way, that's a dope question, dude. So,
Appreciate you.
um, first thing is I want people to know, and actually, you guys somewhat covered a lot of what I'm about to say, but the first thing is I want people to know that I am a person you can't tell me something can't be done. You can't tell me
Uh-huh.
no. Um, I'm gonna find a way to get it done. Might take a little bit longer, but I'm gonna find a way to get it done. You can't tell me no.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second thing is it's kind of twofold. I'm a very loyal person. Man, brother, sister, friend. Like Asharo said, man, if I let you into my personal world, my personal space of friendship or love, like is what it is. Like
Right.
I'm a ride for and probably put things on the line for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Um the other thing is this is well, this is twofold. The third reason, Jamie, you covered this when Kwame did too. I would want somebody to know. Thirdly, I love my people. I love my race. I love black excellence, black success, black
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship, black um um what's the word I'm looking for?
Ultra black. No.
Cause
No,
I'm
this is a
black,
particular
y'all.
word. Black I can't even think of the word. Anyway, I just love black period. And I love the fact that I went to North Carolina Central University. And I think back on the schools that I could have gone to,
Right.
that I actually almost went to. I signed with and didn't go, and the schools I had interest in. And I don't think I know it would have been another path I would have adapted to, but I
Yeah.
don't think I would have had that same experience. And
Mhm.
I say
Of
that
course
because
not.
I think my introduction to NCCU wasn't even me visiting when I was in high school because my sister was there, but my initial experience with an extension of North Carolina Central was through Miss Nancy Rowland.
Ah,
Rest her soul.
we all know Miss
Yep,
Rowland.
that's Miss Rose.
So
Rest
she
in
was an
peace.
extension to what Central was going to offer. And
Mm-hmm.
she told me, now that you're in, I need you to do great things. And that's been the fuel for some of the things I've done professionally.
Ah,
So
that's so dope.
those are the three things.
Mm.
Okay. Word up.
Uh,
All right, boys. Here's the question. You ready?
mhm.
Here's the question. Could you marry or date a woman twice divorced?
Hmm.
Could you date or marry a woman that has been twice divorced, not broken up with, divorced? So she got married 2 times and got divorced 2 times.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Kwame, could you marry or date a woman that was twice divorced?
Um, I would say the simple and the surface answer would be no. Um, I and I don't know how fair that would be. I think that well, I know like a period of time with Shawn, we had a conversation, and he asked me
Hmm.
maybe like 10 years ago about could I marry a woman that already been married, is divorced, and even that time I was just like, nah,
Hell
that
nah.
won't be my first choice, something like that. I couldn't do it. I
Right.
think hindsight, if I was single at the age I am, I think I'd be open to maybe that at that point in my life. But at my early 30s, I wasn't open to that. And not to say it's the woman's fault, because you don't know what situation they may been in. Like some people getting married too young and then it didn't work out, and then
Hmm.
I mean it's just a lot. But I mean, if you look at outside, whether it's fair or not, I think people has the perception like, but dang, this person been married twice, and so what's going on? You
Right.
know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
in some cases, some people get married like 3 or 4 times and take the third or fourth marriage for them to be married for the next 30 years. But
Steve Harvey stuff.
yeah, but
Steve
I think for
Harvey.
me, I will have to probably pass on that.
You gonna pass.
I'm gonna pass.
Hey, Kasharo, what you gonna do? You gonna marry or date a woman twice divorced?
Well, it's interesting. I could not. Well, let me say I could not. I would not marry a woman twice divorced or divorced, period, because I stand firm in what I said. If I were to ever get a divorce, God forbid, I'm not getting married again.
Hmm.
I could date you. We can have a committed relationship, and all that. And I won't date, be
Uh,
monogamous and don't date nobody else. But marriage is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I wouldn't want to go down that road again. You know what I mean? So whoever
right.
I would be dating, she's going to know if you want to get married, I'm not the one. So you might want to go the other way. You know what I mean? So,
just,
but I could
just
definitely date and be with a woman who has been twice divorced. Yes, I could all day.
you
But
could date her,
marriage,
but you're
no,
not gonna marry her.
I'm not gonna marry her.
I'm gonna
And
ask you something.
it's not because she's been divorced. It's because I
Right.
don't want to get married again.
That's fair.
What if you was a single man, hypothetically, that was
Mhm.
never married, so you never been down that road before,
But he's not.
and you're not. I mean, I'm
He
just,
has to answer the question as he is.
well, I could
Because those
answer it as a
hypotheticals for
hypothetical.
him is like, well shit.
That's a hard. It's hard. That's a hard question to answer, Kwame. Like I don't know if I had never been married, could I? I don't know. It's just a hard question.
Could that change? That changes it. Could
It does.
your reasons because you already it's about
You've already been
been
there. You've
through
been
it.
through the
So
woods.
my thing is, as a
Right.
single man, if you wasn't, you know what I'm saying, would that make a difference to you at that point?
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't answer it.
Right. So
I'm
allow
stuck
me
on
to
that one. I
answer, then I'm gonna
couldn't.
kick it to
Yeah.
Jermaine because I'm pretty sure, you know, he has his cut of it. I could not marry a woman twice divorced because it's an indication that something ain't right. Sadly, I mean, some ain't right. Call those indicators.
Right.
Is that fair
Either she
though?
like, it's not fair. Ain't shit
Okay.
fair. Ain't
Okay.
said that shit was fair. Fuck fair. I'm not trying to be fair. I'm trying to. This is also my life,
Right.
and I want to. I mean, I could be
Right.
with
Right.
you at the house, but I can't. Something going on, baby. Something in the water, and we got to call a thing. And I could not. I could date her on the side. I'll be her side dude.
Mm.
Right.
What do you call side dudes? Like side chicks.
Professional side dude.
I'll be a professional. I'll be her side dude.
Tyrone.
I couldn't be her Stedman. I would have to be her Jerome or something. I couldn't do it. So, Jermaine, could you marry or date a woman twice divorced?
Oh, it's a single guy right
As a
now
single man, plus 40.
in this mind state. No, I couldn't marry a woman who's been twice divorced. Yeah, damn, you're right. Fair. I know, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's her fault. But on the flip side of that coin, what I would look at and evaluate is this. First of all, marriage is work. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already been, I wouldn't say I think a woman would she's been beat down, but I will say she's been worn down by those marriages in terms of
Mm-hmm.
workload she had to carry. So, you know, I don't know. Is that an indication that when the work gets rough, you want to bail out?
Yep.
Is that an indication that you don't look at the bigger picture? You don't get the help you need before I get married? Like, it's just too many factors that I don't have time to deal with.
Damien,
Plus,
Jermaine.
I think me personally, if I'm gonna, I would prefer. Can you guys hear me?
There you go.
Now we can, yeah.
Okay.
Stop moving.
I was gonna say I prefer to marry a woman who has not been married. In terms of marriage, probably could
Mhm.
date her, but marriage, no, I couldn't do it.
Hey, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit. So we all saying we couldn't do that, but
Right.
if we met a woman and like I said, the obvious is the indicators that okay,
Yeah.
see whether it's like coping or dealing with situation, whether it's that person's fault or not. But if
Hmm.
you dating this person and you know she's twice divorced, but when y'all was together, she hasn't show you no indicators, and everything's been good. You know what I'm saying? Hasn't been no situations, and you actually like fall like it still wouldn't change
Why
anything
would
for
we
you.
have to get married then? Let's just continue to
Well,
be.
that's what I said for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess Jamie's a little different than mine because he said, and he was to him, it's indicators that something is ain't right with her. It's
Something ain't
different for
right.
me. Like, I'm not looking at her like something wrong with her because you said people go through stuff. You just never
Right.
know what people been through. So
Yeah.
for
Right.
me, it wouldn't. I don't care about that. Like,
it's not even about
I'm
finger
willing
pointing.
to be with her. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
care.
I'm willing to be with you, but we
Yeah,
ain't got to put
it's
it
not.
on paper.
It's not even about finger pointing. Like, oh, something's wrong with you, or you're stained, or you got a black X on you. It's more so about the bigger picture, which is, you know, how do you even perceive marriage? What was wrong with the two other guys? Are you bad at picking men?
That's
You know,
also the other
were
point too.
they
Yes.
right? Like, it's so many different moving parts to that whole thing, and then you gotta take all the moving parts into consideration. You know,
And then add
so
children into that too. If she had one kid by one
right,
husband, and of course, like two kids by the latest husband.
right.
So now we got two fathers. Come on, bro.
Mhm.
Right.
I
And
can't.
again, let me be clear. It's no shot taken at women who are in this position. And I'm personally, I wouldn't be looking at it negatively. It's just that I have say so in this. I got a right to
Me too.
say,
Yeah, I
right?
have also have a right. Yeah,
So
Mhm.
that's all I'm
you
saying.
got to answer to your
So
mom and your family about what you're
right,
doing.
right.
Mhm.
So no offense, ladies. If no offense to ladies, let me just be clear. No offense at all,
Yeah, I just think it should be
ladies.
it should be a conversation, like you said. If you are twice divorced, or even once, it can be once divorced.
What's the
There's gonna
worst?
be a
Yeah.
conversation that, for me, just because who I am, I'm gonna dig deeper, like try to figure out what happened. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
what was some of the causes that led to that divorce. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it was you. It could have been him. It could have been you. You know what I mean? And it still don't mean that it's an issue that I can't handle. It's just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, let me just see where this can go. You know what I mean? But keep
Right,
my eyes open at the same
right,
time.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, right. I agree. And it seems like we all kind of lean towards the same. Well, we see the bigger picture in moving parts. And actually, too, I want us to go back to something because we kind of talked about um this in our health and when we talked about challenges for this month and health
Mhm.
challenges. And part of the health challenges obviously healthy food. And that's actually one of the big issues with a lot of um communities of
Right.
color in America. Just giving some historical context of food deserts. So I just want to talk about food deserts and how do we gain food justice, right? Um how do we how do in terms of inequality and access to healthy food and folks who don't live within the 5 mile radius of healthy food and people whose diets match their pockets, their income. Like, what do you think some possible solutions to get healthy food into the hoods and healthy food into communities of color, not just black, but all
Mm-hmm.
communities of color, to help them to one day say we want to do what Jamie, Kashabo, Kwame, and Jermaine are doing, right? In terms of these monthly health challenges, what do you think would be some ways to obtain food justice for folks in these in these situations? Jamie.
Well, um, you got to get the government to work with us. I mean, they gave us cheese. They gave us
That about it.
a bevy of other unhealthy things, but we need the government to work with us, and give us access to some of those healthier foods. I could go down a rabbit hole in regards to how the government treats corn producers and how they pay them to not give out. The crazy shit going on with our government. But uh, it's a few things. It's access, you know, but it's education. One, how do I eat a
Right.
buttermilk squash? How do I prepare it?
Right.
One is education, and how do you eat the food, and once you eat the food, adding protein. And I've been off meat now for going on 4 years
Oh,
in
that's
July.
awesome, dude.
But I tell you, it's so hard because it's easy to find a piece of chicken everywhere.
Right.
So it's availability is another thing. Is when you're out eating, so many things you can go down. But I think it starts with your government because they have the ability to put you in a place where food is available. And if they sending out cheese and what else? I remember because we were on food stamps. Let's be clear. Not
Peanut butter, the butter.
peanut
Peanut
butter,
butter,
bologna.
cheese, bread.
Yeah, we got them free things.
So,
My cousins
so
got it
you
at my
you feel like
grandma's house.
those things need to be initiated. Well, in healthier forms should be initiated now.
Yeah, they don't have to ship it to us. They just need to make it available.
Right.
Yeah. And it needs to
Right.
be. It can't be preserved. It has to be used. It's the food programs, these food banks, and I think there's a stigma attached to it. Well, I got some free food down at the
Right.
food bank. Well, that food's going to waste anyway if you don't eat it or consume it.
Right.
And then you have to get them out of that because food is so cheap. To get a salad at say Panera Bread is $8, but of course you get a 4 for 4 from
Right.
a few places. And McDonald's is on pretty much every corner, you can get to, and it's so cheap and it's so available. That's not healthy in the long run. And what's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say too, in terms of like unhealthy foods,
Hmm.
it's one of the main causes of diet related diseases, right?
Yeah,
High blood pressure,
it's
all that
it's
stuff.
your diet. You can work out all day. You can work it out every day,
Right.
all day. But if you're eating those bad foods, genetically, some people can get past it, but by and large, us black folk can't. We're gonna
Right.
high blood pressure and cholesterol through the roof because
Right.
we can't digest that food. And my wife, she's doing the best she can. She's off pork and beef, and she's dabbling in the chicken, but she's trying to get off that thing. It's just also you have to wean yourself off that and then understand how vegetables and fruits and stuff work for you.
Right.
It's so many things before you get systematic racism. Is
Right.
crackers on it too, man.
That's true. You're right. You're right, Jamie. Good points. So, Quan, what you think, man?
I kind of a lot of it. Jamie covered a lot of it, but
He did.
I wanted to start with like the issue and then probably possible solutions. But I think the issue, uh, like he said, if you go to certain areas where, like he says, minority and specifically black folks, then you see what's around. I would just use DC as the basis, you know. And if you go to most of the places, like certain areas that gets considered high, black areas, like Anacostia, you going over the Anacostia River on the 7-8 district is almost like you don't find too many like grocery stores and stuff there.
Right.
But it's a carry out in every block. You know what I'm saying? And you have people who, if you in it, you don't. This is normal to you. It's not abnormal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You grow up in there. Big mama tell you go in the corner and get a fish plate or get a chicken plate, you know what I'm saying? And you eating that almost every other day, or you going there, you know what I'm saying, and getting oodles and noodles and stuff like that. And this is your diet at this point. So at this point, this is what all you know. And if you have to go and trying to make a conscious decision and trying to like, okay, I'm gonna go to a Whole Foods or go to an organic, or even go to a regular grocery store at this point, you know what I mean?
Right.
Um then you have to travel to go to a different. You have to go to Maryland. You have to go to Virginia. You have to go to the other side of the district to be able to do something like that. And this is just a small mechanism, but this is across America. You can probably find this in Chicago, New York. It's the same thing, and it's not it's already available. It's not available as it should be. And even if they do have grocery stores, you can tell. It could be the same brand grocery store, and you go to a certain neighborhood or a certain
Yep.
area, the produce don't be the same, the fruit's not the same. It's like a bad quality, and you can go
Right.
a whole different area that might be less than 5 miles away,
So you won't find the Wegmans in these areas, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
right?
Or it could be the same
Definitely
thing. I mean,
not.
it can be two different giants, and wherever that
Piggly
giant is
Wiggly.
located,
Right,
may be
right,
different in regards of the quality of the fruit and produce that you have there.
right,
So and it's very obvious. So it's the first thing is educating yourself about it and being aware of it, and then I guess trying to make a conscious decision of trying to do it. And then
right,
but the other part that Jamie already alluded to, it is cheaper to eat some of those things that, like you said, that's not good for you, and it costs more to eat better. So sometimes it might be an economic strat for somebody where no, it's cheaper, like you said, to go grab like a chicken plate or something, or a food, a value menu meal or something versus something that's more might be more healthy for you. So you have that against you too. So it's the location and availability, then having the access to the economics to afford that on a regular basis, and also whether it's a quick meal or either shopping. So and you can see it's by design. But then what changed is now we're talking about gentrification, and some of those same areas, that's for example in Southeast, they start slowly building their grocery stores near the baseball stadium and the kind of area
Got a
that's like
Whole
near Capitol Hill
Foods.
and everything, Whole Foods and everything. The whole
Mhm.
time, 15, 20 years, they even exist. So now you got white people come in those areas, and now it's available now. So
right,
you can see how this is already structured
right.
and how it works. So that's
And,
not
and
too
and one of the bigger one of the biggest impediments is that life expectancy is cut short in these particular communities.
bad. Hmm.
Um, you know what I'm saying? Because if you can't afford healthy food, you damn sure can't afford healthcare. And
That's fine.
your
That's
your
fair.
zip code is definitely gonna determine how long you live. In a lot of cases. Kashara, what you think, dude?
Yeah, like I said, y'all covered it all really, but I'll say this little part real quick before we move on. Like Kwame was saying about the gentrification, in these areas, I think it's also you putting these places there because these people can't afford those type of places like the Whole Foods and stuff like that, old Wegmans. So they're not going to go to those places because they can afford it, which makes them want to go out somewhere else, which is probably further, or just pushing them out of what they used to, so they can't, stay in those areas because they can afford to stay in those areas. But the other part of it is they may not want to. You know what I mean? Like you can, like Jamie said about educating yourself. Like
Yeah.
some people just don't want to. Like they happy with that way of life. Even
Yeah.
if you
It's
try to expose them to it, they're like, like I don't want to.
I
Just
don't want
just
it.
what they want to do. So that's another part too. Like you gotta want to
right.
do better and educate yourself. Because I know when younger, I had no problem just going, to this place and that place because it was cheaper. But as I got older, I'm educating myself more. And I have a family that I want to be around for. So I got to do better, and teach
That
them
too.
better as well, especially having kids. So,
Right.
Hey, Kishara, just even I'm sorry, I
yeah.
mean, but even what you just said real quick, like I said, when you in it, you don't. I don't think you realize it's like you in a prison and
Mm-hmm.
you don't see it, and then when you get out of that environment and looking outside in, then you may see it from a different scope, and that could be this. It can be whatever inner city, it can be whatever small town it is, or whatever the case may be, and it goes to not just the food. We can go to a lot of other things. You in it, you're happy about where you at. You don't see it as being an issue. That's all you know, and
Right.
you don't feel a long term effect of it. So I think it's just that's why it's always good. I think to always just, in my opinion, to go somewhere else, spend some time somewhere, whether it's college, whether you from a certain town and get a job somewhere else, or and see from a different lens, because then you
Right.
understand this world is bigger than your little town. It's bigger than your block. You know what I'm saying? So then you have something to compare to. Hopefully, around you meet around other people who might have a different perspective and different scope. And then when you kind of see that, you're like, oh, okay, well, now I see this other way, or I can see, or I can
Yeah.
eat sushi and it's fine. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
or I can
Mm-hmm.
eat, try something you wouldn't even dare eating before. So I
Right.
think it's one of those things. Exposure is a
And
key.
I think too, and I'll say this, kind of taper it off. I think once part of it is understanding what bad health even is. You know what I'm saying? When your body starts to give you signs of bad health or breakdown, I think at that point too, I think at that point is when folks, probably will kind of say, let me try to switch gears or whatever. But anyway,
Mhm.
but yeah, gentrification is doing a number on us. So
It
Mhm.
definitely is. Well, two things I've heard since we started. over and over, we talked about like food and educating each other, which kind of leads me to my question. Can you date someone that is not on your educational level? So I said that because I've had this conversation with several females, and I always just go to this analogy like, could you date a dude who worked at McDonald's or worked at Walmart? And every time without fail, the reaction is kind of like, no, like I wouldn't do that. And I kind of take offense to it, not because I work at McDonald's or Walmart, but as a man, I'm looking at it like, yo, okay, I might not have a degree, but I'm out here working hard. I'm busting my butt every day, to provide for
Right.
myself and to provide for you. So just because
Right.
you got a bachelor's or a master's degree, a PhD, whatever, why am I not good enough to date or be with because I'm working at McDonald's? Because who's to say I don't want to own the McDonald's? And because
Right.
there are lots of people out here who do not have degrees, they are doing exceptionally well. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
No
I'm
debt.
looking at them. I don't see why that should be an issue. But everybody got their preferences. But Jermaine, what do you think about that? Can you date someone who's not on your educational level?
Oh man. So
And I want you to be
I've
still,
done it
speak
in
clear,
terms
because I
of
really want to hear your opinion.
Gotta sit
okay.
still, dog.
All right, let me be still. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm gonna stay just like this
Okay.
on some robotic stuff. All right. Listen, I've done something slightly similar years ago. And that's when I actually found out that I was a sapiosexual. Okay. I'm
Define
attracted
that,
to a
please.
woman.
Define
Oh,
sapiosexual for the people who don't know.
okay. So it's just that just means that you are stimulated by a woman's intelligence.
Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And it doesn't mean that she's all tooty wooty, putting her degrees in your face every day. It's just that the quality of conversation day in and day out is soothing and it's therapeutic. Okay, you guys with me? I want to make sure y'all with me because I'm about to give you some good stuff now.
You
You
there?
moving again. Big, we want to hear this.
Yeah,
Okay,
you there?
what was the last thing y'all heard me say?
Therapeutic
Mhm.
and
Okay,
stay with you.
yeah, okay.
All
So,
right.
could I date a woman who's not on my educational level? I'm going to say yes. If she if she has these elements and aspects of a woman that I'm interested in, because just because I'm a sapiosexual doesn't mean that it's going to come through someone with multiple degrees. For example, I went out with this young lady, PhD. I think she was a professor as well. I think she taught at University of Maryland, College Park. And when we went out, we only did one date, but all she wanted to talk about was her coursework
Mm.
Talk about what?
and
Her
her degree,
Her
coursework?
coursework.
Okay,
her
gotcha.
coursework, and
Don't
it
nobody want
turned
to
me
hear that
off.
shit.
It
Yeah.
just turned me off because that doesn't define me. You know what I'm saying? My academic achievements does not define me. It's just a product of hard work. So, um, so yeah, I'm gonna say yeah, I could, but the woman, but the chick, the young lady would have to be, she would have to be able to, to provide like conversation and be worldly. You know what I'm saying? Have a worldly view, an open view, be able to have these open discussions and things like that. She just would have to have certain qualities that I'm attracted to. If that answers your question.
I don't know, but to go back, what if she don't have that, but she could be a good woman for you though? Like you don't feel like you could expose her to those things and you could actually change the conversation that she has, because a lot of times people only talk about what they know because they ain't been exposed to anything
Right.
else.
Right.
So you could be introducing her to a whole nother world that she might not be privy to, and it might open her up more.
Sharo, here's the deal. If I were to meet a woman who was open to certain things,
Mhm.
I think I would be inclined. But the only downside to that is that you still have to you still have to downplay your energy because now you have to wait for this person to arrive where you want them to arrive. Who knows how long it take?
Got that kind of time.
I can see
You
that.
understand what I'm
Yeah, they
saying?
might never
And
make it there.
No,
right,
they
and they
won't.
may not make. So now you are uncomfortable in a situation because you are not. you're not getting what you want. You invested in this thing, but it's just not right. It's just not what you want. And by this time, you could have wasted 3 or 4 years in this situation.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Jamie, what's your
Yeah.
thoughts on this?
Much like Jermaine, I am a sapiosexual. I'm really into how my woman is smarter than me, and that we could talk about things that interest her and I.
Mm-hmm.
And none of my ex girlfriends look alike. I don't have a type. My type is smart with big titties. Straight up.
That's your type.
In your
Smart.
face, in your face.
And
I
fun
mean, your
bags.
face, yeah, have to be pretty, of course, but that is my decision. But it's really her mind I'm after.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And could she work at McDonald's? I got to know why you're at McDonald's, because you could certainly be working there to figure out how the system works so you can start your own business. But that will come out in conversation. But you should know sooner than later that what her plans are,
Mm-hmm.
and what are the indicators? What how's her house look? How does she keep her apartment? What does the car look like? All those
Mm-hmm.
things are indicators to who is she really, and if she's
Mm-hmm.
What does
just
that
something
trunk? What does that trunk in the car look like, too?
yeah, what that truck look like, because they could be junky as hell. Like, oh no, it's a setup. So all those are indicators for me to figure out who this person really is. What is your plan? Now, I'll take the date. I would take the
Mm-hmm.
date, but you find out on that date who that person is just by the
Right.
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to attend the university. You could just be a savant and just be on that shit. But I may be
Mm-hmm.
out of your. I mean, I may be out of your league, as in I'm wasting your time. So you're
Right.
so smart. That's also a thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a threshold. You could be too
Right.
smart for me, and I don't want to waste your time. And you over here talking
That's
about
true.
Rocket
That's true.
science.
yeah, rocket science, and all I know
So,
about is, hey, look, you like t-shirts? Because I like t-shirts. I make them every day.
so you have a master's degree
Yeah,
and you have your own business.
yeah.
So, could you? So, does the woman? She don't have to be on that level. Is what I'm hearing you say. She don't have to have a
Like I
master's
tell y'all
degree.
every time, I ain't as smart as I appear. I know yeah, I know who I am. Really, I do know who I am. I know I'm smart enough to know that my lady needed to be smarter than me, because I'm gonna fuck this up some way, somehow, in my own little ways. Uh, I,
Okay.
she does not have to have a master's degree or even a bachelor's degree or even a high school degree. She needs to be smarter than myself, because I can't get us but so far. But then you got to take over.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're working at McDonald's, then we have to reposition you. Like, why are you over here when you could be over there? But if that's the point, then that's the indicator that you probably ain't as smart as you appear. If you're just there to be working, because you could be you don't have to work that hard in food. You can go work. You can get a receptionist job. You should, because supposed to have the ability to type and all the stuff. Where's the indicators?
True.
If you just there working, damn, why'd you do that? Get a better job at Food Line.
True. Good answer.
Stupid.
Okay. I just want to make sure we clear, because I don't want the
Mhm.
conversation or the listener to be misunderstood. The key word is educational level. I want to make
Right.
sure that people know. Can
I
you
got that
date or
master's,
be
but I
with
didn't
some?
ask for it.
Right. So, Kwame, with that said, could you date or marry someone who's not on your educational level? Why or why not?
Oh yeah, sure. Like I said, Jamie and Jermaine kind of touched on it a little bit. I think that the educational level is just one aspect of somebody's intelligence. It's not the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think educational level to me is best. I've met plenty of people, or I say to stay dating or dated some women who are very smart in that particular area. So they're very smart in finance, or they're very smart in health education or whatever else. That not necessarily doesn't mean that they have all intelligence in other things. I think you
Mhm.
might not have common sense. You know what I mean? And that would be
Right.
a turnoff for me if you just can't make basic decisions, but you can tell me everything about, what I'm saying, about, I don't know, about anything, wherever you went to school, about being an accountant or something. Like, yo,
Mhm.
you good in that, but what's going to do when making real life decisions? Like, those are the type of
Mhm.
things that matter to me. And I think also, uh, I think some people get so stuck into a title or what somebody have or degree, you
Mhm.
automatically assume these other things come along with that, and that's not necessarily the case. I think that
Mhm.
you can have a person who got the resource to do certain things and might not never went to college. You got somebody who
Mhm.
was unfortunate enough to have a situation where they're able to travel,
Right.
or they have the means to have certain resources about as far
Mhm.
as like a finance advisor or different resources or different experiences that then maybe you might be a doctor and never did none of those things. That person might
True.
be actually more, it might be more intelligent than you as far as life goes. So I look at that as all determining factors, and I agree with Jamie and Jermaine too. I also attracted to a person who's smart. I would say my wife got me beat in a lot of areas. You know what I'm saying? But it means some things, but also a situation where I felt like we learn from each other,
Yeah.
and if
Mhm.
I got to be able to pull, what I'm saying, pull from you as you pulling from me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
and that was the matter. And I have had friends who feel like they don't know the teaching. I'm not interested in doing, I'm not teaching some things, but I ain't trying to do all the teaching. You know what I mean? I'm not,
Right.
telling you to do the base. So I remember I talked to this, well, they didn't really talk, maybe like one or two conversations with this woman one time when I was dating. And she was talking about how she never been anywhere before. And I think she lived in Baltimore at the time, man. And basically she only know that area. And we was talking, I was like, what? Like, and I was
How?
kind of assuming, but I don't know if it's shallow or not, but I was kind of like turned off, but to the point where, uh, I think to me it appeared she was okay being there, and even if she wasn't, I wasn't the
Mhm.
person, and that part of my life was like, I ain't trying to teach nobody to do all this. I just had the energy to do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it comes in one way. So nah, to answer your question, it necessarily doesn't, have to be that because education comes in many forms.
Okay.
School of
So
hard knocks, yeah.
Sharo, could you
that's
date someone that is not on your educational level?
I could, but it comes everything gotta have a caveat with some type of stipulation. I gotta be stimulated some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta I wanna be motivated. I wanna be able to learn, something from
Mm-hmm.
you. So to me, I don't think you gotta have a degree to do that. You know what I'm saying? I just want,
Right.
like you said, I want somebody to be able to have a conversation and be able to somewhat relate. Like it would be a major turnoff if we just cannot talk about anything. Like you always
Anything.
just over to the left, and I'm like, where did you get that from? Like, who says this? Like that type of stuff
Yeah.
turns me off like completely.
Mhm.
So I could. It's like I said, it just depends on. There's just a lot different things that come along with that. So like I said, you don't
Yeah.
have to have a degree to be with me, but
So you could not date a younger girl because you can't relate. Because I can. I'm like, why would I even? I can't even speak her
oh
language.
heck no,
I'm not
definitely
on her
not. Like
frequency.
yeah, you know how a lot of dudes like I can always go younger. Yeah, we as
Yeah.
men can always go younger, but I don't want to. Like I don't have the
It
time
would
Nah,
for
I'm
be
gonna
that.
have to
so
get an old
taxing,
lady.
so draining,
Like
so
that'd be
mentally.
very draining. Yeah, I
Right.
can't. No, I'm not with that
You're
at
not
all.
with that.
At all.
But hey, you know
So
what? But there is a caveat about the educational thing. And one thing I want to say is like, for just kind of moving on. I think sometimes, but I know there's cases where people had date somebody who may not can't relate to just the college, being going to college. Period. So we go to
Mm-hmm.
like homecoming or something, and they don't
Oh yeah.
understand the
That's what I
culture of that, and you're hugging
low
somebody,
connection.
and it doesn't mean
Like, who is
anything,
this nigga?
and they don't, what I'm saying, they don't understand that. So I think
Yeah.
I honestly think you have to go to a college or HBCU at all. But I think I would want somebody, if I was in that situation, to be able to understand, at least learn that, because like I said, it'll be. I can see that not being fun. You're going to homecoming, you bringing
It's
your
got to be
girl,
tragic.
and she's not understanding, looking around, and but she's
Ready to go.
jealous. I don't know. That would be a huge turn off for me. Yeah, ready to go
but
after the
I'm
first
ready to
hour.
go.
I'm like,
My
we just
feet
got
hurt.
started. We on hour three. We just warming up. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
yeah,
baby,
but the
we ain't
turnoff would
stop
be
until
her
hour
not
17.
wanting to understand that situation.
That's
That's the
what I'm
Right.
saying.
turnoff. You know what I'm
Got it.
saying? Like you got some who didn't go to college and would love to be in the atmosphere and enjoying seeing you do you, hug
Yeah,
these
in the
girls,
atmosphere.
dap
That's
these
true
dudes
too.
up. They enjoy that. There are some who would. So I was like, the turnoff would be if you acting like you don't want to be here because you feel like
Yeah.
you feel out of place.
You're correct, Kashara. I
Oh
agree.
yeah, the out of place friend or the
Yeah,
out of place mate at a college event.
Yeah.
exactly. And Key, I'm glad you said mate. So for all our female listeners out here, this is not a dig at you who do not have degrees or what have you, because I
Not
know
at
a
all.
lot of dudes. I have some guy associates have tons of education and they have no common sense whatsoever. So
Just
it's not
educated.
all
That's it.
about the education at all.
Oh
So
yeah, and this wasn't about no slight no female. This go to the other side. We're talking from a male perspective. So
well,
we
that's what I'm saying because we're talking from a male
you
perspective. So
we
I
talking about
don't want
females,
our
but yeah,
female listeners. We don't want y'all to get it confused. Like we
yeah,
trying to
Right.
say it's about
Right.
y'all. It's not because
yeah.
it's both. It work
Oh,
both
okay. It's
ways.
both
It works
ways.
both
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. The
Yeah.
jealous dude all mad because you know what I'm saying because you just talking to everybody on the campus and they ain't
Hmm.
mad like they ain't cool either. So yeah, it goes
Right.
both ways. I'm glad you did
Yeah.
clear that, Kashar, because
Well, also when we in our, you might be in certain social circles. Like we all at a certain age now. We go visit people, functions, or you just go to house parties, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And you bring their mate, male or female, and y'all all talking about these college stories or just stuff that y'all all can relate to, and the person sitting there looking like they can't relate. You know, it's that type of stuff. But if they sitting there acting like they don't want to be there because you're talking about that, again, that's the issue I have versus they actually enjoy hearing those stories. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, y'all did that. And they engage in the conversation. Well, what happened? Like, tell me, like, real that,
Yeah.
they
Right.
engaging in the conversation because they want to know.
They want to
It
know.
doesn't affect them that they were not a part of that circle. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Or
And it's the
that
relate
life.
part. That's the key phrase or
Exactly.
key term here is the ability to relate. If I bring up something from house party and you get it, we on the level then, right? But if I,
Right.
you
Right.
tell me something from something we've never heard of, it's like, well, we just can't relate. And that's the
Yeah.
problem more than your educational level. It's really about, do you remember when, or what do you think about if they came back and did this, like better yet, coming to America, coming back out on Saturday,
Friday. Hmm.
Friday, who they,
Hmm.
I am so excited. We're going to have coming to America night here in my house.
Right.
Now, if my mate didn't want to have that, we got a problem, man.
Right.
We
That's
got a
it.
situation on our hands.
Indeed, I feel you.
no doubt.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
good. So
yeah,
Kwame, what you got, brother? What you got?
Well. First, I want to shout out, like I said, I'm glad you did clear up that part because, and ladies, like I said, when we say things, keep in mind we're four guys, so we're gonna come from a male perspective, so we're not forgetting about you. And so, first, I want to shout, I was happy with history, Women History Month, I believe, in March. So yeah,
It is
that's
Women's
one
History
thing.
Month here in March.
National
So
Women's.
yeah, so we
Yep.
definitely want to give a shout out to the women.
Right.
Y'all, without y'all, it won't be no us.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, literally,
Especially our black queens.
exactly, specifically them.
Especially them.
But yeah, so the other thing before we go on for that, um, so ladies, you know how sometimes that you have a chance to like kind of go out, you want to go to the store or around the corner, get some gas, or wherever you get to go, and you don't have time to get your hair together or grab something. Well, I got something for you. I have I want to give a shout out for the dose of dopeness to Shawn Clarke. She's the owner of Constant Covering LLC, and what that is, she has an online pre-tied satin line turbans, head wraps, and apparel for women on the go.
Huh.
And that's the situation where you definitely just want to it's already put together. You got to put on your hair. She had great designs. I know a couple of people that friends and family actually bought some of her wraps and they love it. Other women can, I guess, compliment other things. They see a little different than us. So
Right.
apparently other women give them compliments for her head wrap. So she's doing a
Hmm.
great job with her merchandise, and she has a code for 10% off called Loyal16, and you can use it at www.constantcovering.com. Once again, it's a code for 10% off Loyal 16 at www.constantcovering.com. So, ladies, if you're in need for something, just something nice
Grab and
looking,
go.
wrap and go, saying, or you just want to be stylish with it, hey, you definitely have to give her site to look up. I believe Jill Scott had order her some of her hair
Word
wraps and
up.
stuff. So she had a couple
Mhm.
couple celebrities that actually
That's good for her.
just kind of like look into her products, whatever and stuff. So it's
Hmm.
definitely dope, and I definitely want to give her a shout out for this month. So yeah, that's our dose of dopeness for
Dose
today.
of
Kwame, can you give
dopeness.
That's
her
what's up.
website one more time? Like spell it out
Oh,
for the
okay.
listeners.
Yeah, so it's www.shawnc Constant, CONSTANT, covering, COVERING.com. And the constant covering is one word together. And
Big
so,
up the constant covering, yo.
yeah,
Shout out to Shawn Clarke and her head wraps and all the good
Clarke.
things that she do.
That's
yeah,
right.
definitely,
Clarke, no doubt.
definitely. Just sure, I'm gonna let you say your drop and all the stuff that where you can find our podcast.
That's right.
Thank
Tell
you.
them where they
thank
can
you.
find us at, Charo.
You guys, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you guys for listening to us again. And we also want to apologize because we had a lot of technical difficulties tonight. So we want to apologize for. But if you want to hit us up, you can find us at 4timesdope@gmail.com if you want to drop us some comments or DMs or anything you want to say, sponsorship, anything like that. Also, we want to shout out our sponsor of this episode, Subject to Change. We want to shout them out. And if you go to Subject to Change, you can get some of our dope merchandise. Jamie, what's the website again, brother?
It is shops2c.com.
That's right. Shops2c.com. Get that 4times dope merchandise. Also, you can find us on Twitter at 4times dope1. And you can find us on Facebook and IG at 4times dope podcast. And is anything else, fellas?
Yeah, buy all the merchandise. Go to
Get your merch up.
subject.com. Buy every single thing we got in that piece.
Yeah,
Buy
we're
all
going to add
of
a
it.
t-shirt in there. We're going to add the cap in there. We're going to really
do it
round it
And
out.
also, before we roll, again, if you want sponsorship, please hit us up at 4timesdope@gmail.com or just drop something in the DMs and we'll be happy to talk to you about sponsorship and getting the ad. Until next time, we out.